Hey, what's going on, Archons? Welcome to another Key Thoughts. And I woke up this morning. As you can see, I'm still in my Christmas jammies, and I'm rocking the Kevin McAllister hair, so it is the season. It felt appropriate. And I woke up just thinking about grim reminders, as one does in this current climate. And I think something that's really interesting about the set we're about to have, I want to talk about today because I've been thinking about it. I'm very excited for this set. Having played so much WoW and the concept of a token and the way that changes the way KeyForge has been, going back to a new, more, we'll call it classical set of KeyForge, where cards are not completely lost, although you are discarding, but you know what I mean. I guess it's more of you're aware of on both sides of the table. What's happening is very exciting for me, and plus the 3 decks I have from Grim Reminders, I absolutely love playing. Like, I wish I had some way other than just with myself to play these 3 decks and had more decks to play. They're so much fun. So I'm very excited for everyone else to also get Grim Reminders, and it looks like they're really steaming ahead with that idea. So that is awesome. But first, before we get into this little concept that I've been thinking about with Grim Reminders, I want to do a card of the week from Grim Reminders, because this card is absolutely bonkers. So here it is. Island of Misfit Toys. Oh, you can't really see it. It's a little too dark here. Let's get a little bit closer. There we go. So it's a rare artifact in Geist. So this is action. Return each Geistoid card from your discard pile to your hand, and then purge Island of Misfit Toys. This card is just insane. I think it's going to be a chase card for Grim Reminders, especially with the power level that Geistoid has. If you can just do so many things with it, like one, you can have played Geistoid a bunch and then get this and then pull it back before you flip your discard. You can then even have a Geistoid turn where maybe the board on the other side is quite oppressive and just slam into things, clear the board, pull everything back, especially with great play abilities. I'm thinking of things like Mamet, which is a 1 power creature that has a play/destroyed effect, which is archive the top card of your discard. So that gives you the opportunity to actually get some other houses maybe into your archive, plan your next turn while you have this incredible Geistoid turn. And the deck I have it in actually has, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 creatures. So getting 7 creatures back to throw on the board is no joke. It's just bonkers. So getting to have that huge swing where you get to pull a whole house and you're not even into your archives. I think this card almost would have been more fair if it says archive all of your Geistoids, so you know of a turn coming, but to get them right away and just play again, it's a rise without any chains or anything, and you get it right away. It's truly insane. I really like it, and I think it's going to be something that's sought after moving forward. So Island of Misfit Toys, highly recommend. It is so much fun to play, and it's also thematic for the Christmas theme that seems to be seeping into this episode that I'm doing, of course, with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer having the Island of Misfit Toys. But let's get into the concept I was thinking about today, and that is discard hate. So in Grim Reminders, there is no doubt things like discard hate. I'm sure you've heard on the podcast and in different various content creators talking about how there are certain houses that have cards that specifically want you to take your discard and shuffle it back into your deck. And I was thinking about this, and because I love the way Geistoid play and the use of the haunted mechanic to do great things. And I think that choosing houses, so this is how this came to me, is because people talking about choosing their houses, particularly Sydney actually, and having Geistoid and something like Untamed, which Untamed wants to put things back from your discard into your deck. And I was thinking about, oh yeah, that is going to be counterintuitive to what Geistoid wants to do, but it's also great because if you get the right timing, you can basically set up your drawing into something that you want. But actually, Untamed is going to be a good counter to Island of Misfit Toys. But on the flip side of that, there's the fact that discard hate in general, I don't think is very useful outside of set. So in set, I think it's going to be insane. Outside of set, I think it has much less potency in what it can do. Now, obviously, there's things like exhume, there's routine jobs, which you want in the discard. There is, what else? There's the ZYX card that takes the top of your discard and archives it, things like that. But the truth being is that's very few cards. I mean, exhume's not that few, but that's still not a lot of things that you want to maybe interact with someone's discard. I could see maybe it being great if you can control what cards go back into the deck and being able to slow down them flipping their deck and getting back cards. I think that is going to be a more beneficial, but in terms of utilizing it to stop them from having a discard as a pseudo archive, I don't think is as potent. And so once you get out of set, I think this is going to be, there's going to be, have to be a lot more creative in how you use cards like this and really think through the ways you can hinder an opponent. And I don't think always it will be great. Whereas getting to use your discard and the way Geistoid works is always going to be good when you have a Geistoid deck. So like, fun fact, Geistoid is bonkers. It's so good. It might be quickly becoming my favorite house. And I put an asterisk next to this comment because I only have 3 decks. And I don't know if the 3 decks I have all happen to be quite good. And then when I see them, they're not. But the truth is, I don't think that's a true statement because they all have the same commons that I'm seeing consistently. And then you get the uncommons and some of the rares and it just goes to another level. So I'm super excited for that. I'm also excited for the discard hate. And I want to explore that actually outside of Grim Reminders. So I'm not sure how good it will be outside of Grim Reminders, but I really want to explore that and see how you can really mess with someone's discard because we've never really had that before. So I'm excited for that to come into the game, and I'm curious if it's going to be not that great really at the end of the day. Like, it could be not the best. Another fun thing about it, well, I guess it doesn't really work, but where my thought was going with this, because you wouldn't have that control, is if you could put stuff from your discard back into your deck, and especially things that have a lot of pips to play around in furnaces. But that may be hard to do. I don't know how strong the pip game is right now in Grim Reminders, but that's one way, is if you're trying to play around an impending Infernus, you can really maybe get a bunch of things so you have less of effect against you in purge cards. Although I believe there's ways to recur purge cards in this set, which could be really interesting playing against Infernus. I'm always interested about the purge thing, like having purge things and be able to bring them back, things like that. Having purge as another thing that you can dip into and utilize. Universal Recycling Bin, I think, is a very interesting card. It's just way too slow, unfortunately. But yeah, I just wanted to go on a little rant today talking about the way discard is going to be used, and more like discard hate in some way, and how that can be utilized, and will it be good outside of the set? Because obviously in set it's going to be a blast and it's going to do a lot of work, but when you go out of set, how will that work? And I want to just put that out there. Everyone, start thinking about that. If you haven't, start thinking about that, because I woke up thinking about it today, and so I wanted to hop on here and just share my thoughts with you. These are my weekly KeyForge thoughts. This is probably going to be the last thing I do before Christmas. I got a pretty busy holiday schedule coming up, but I got one more Crucible and Coffee in the tank to put out, so I may put it out this week or save it next week, depending on how busy my week is and the ability to record something. But I definitely want to have something out at least once a week. So yeah, happy holidays everyone out there. Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, and hope everyone forges a lot of keys over Christmas and gets a bunch of decks. So thank you everyone, and as always, may your ember never be stolen and your keys forged promptly. Have a good one.